32 games later in the second round of the state tournament. They need a win to stay alive. Kevin Holden, your play-by-play announcer for the game today. My broadcast partner to my right here is Bill Dolan. And Bill, the Rams had an offensive outpouring on Saturday. Now the question is, for the first time all year, is the pitching going to be there?
This is going to be the key today. Cale Curtis going for the Newton County Rams. If Cale's on, he can be as unhittable as anybody in the whole area, just like he did in the Eagles Landing game. We got to hope that he's around the plate, throwing strikes, because he's very difficult to hit. He's going to be the key to this game, I believe.
And for the Wheeler Wildcats, a team that has as much offense as anybody we have seen all year, and Curtis will try to stop them, but they start Reed Tarantino, hopefully can hit.
That's true. They're going to have to wait a little bit on him, try to make good contact, spraying the ball around, not be back swinging from the heels. They had a little bit of trouble with him Saturday, but once they do level off their swings, they can hit him, and I think they will be able to score some runs off of him.
Well, without further ado, let's begin by giving you your Wheeler lineup. And Newton County is the home team for this game here at Riverside Park, Newton County High School. Your lineup goes like this. For Wheeler High School, Tigger Marshall will lead it off at shortstop. Brooks Souders in right field bats second. Chris Crawford, the center fielder, will hit third. J.J. Thomas is the cleanup batter in left. John Morris, the DH, is the number 5 hitter. Taylor Clark, the catcher, will bat sixth. Brian Seals is at first base batting seventh. And the number 8 hitter is the second baseman Ash Gale. Frank Smith, the number 9 batter at third base. Wheeler going with the same 9 folks in order for the third straight game.
And setting the Ram defense for you, one big change out in left field. But going around the infield, Richie Cleary at first, Ryan Allen at second. Matthew Hires your shortstop, and Sam Allen, the man with the big bat Saturday, at third base. In the outfield, Judd Hall starting in left field. There's a change. Chris Acox in center field. Lance Shannon in right field. Brian Moon behind the plate. And Cale Curtis on the hill.
And Cale Curtis and Brian Moon in a conversation on the mound. It's going to be a very interesting day, and this is as big a game as you could possibly ask for here in the quarterfinals of the state tournament.
Only one word can you really use to describe this game: huge.
Crucial. Tigger Marshall will be the first hitter. Switch hitter back to the right-hand side here against the left-handed fireballer, Cale Curtis. The question is, will he be around the plate in 20 innings? He's given up only 9 hits and 4 runs, 4 earned runs that is, but he's walked 19. He has struck out 34. He pitches from the stretch at all times. His first pitch is low, ball 1.
Normally a good sign if he's down low. When he tends to get wild, it's usually up high in the strike zone when he starts to overthrow. So this first couple batters should be important to him.
Marshall digs back in. He awaits, and the pitch misses outside. 2 balls, no strikes. A good fastball from Curtis, but missing just outside. Beautiful day for baseball. Clear skies, early May day here in Covington, Georgia. The stretch and the 2-0 pitch. Called strike, 2-1. Umpire and the catcher set up way inside for this. And the pitch right there in the inside corner, called strike 3. Curtis hit the spot perfectly, and Marshall goes down. A good start for Curtis and the Rams.
Just a great pitch. As you mentioned, Brian Moon setting up on the inside part of the plate. Did not have to move the club. Cale painted it. Perfect pitch. Great start for Cale Curtis. Hopefully he can bolster his confidence and be ready to go.
With 2 strikes, if you're around the plate, that strike zone has a tendency to expand sometimes. Souders, the hitter, takes the first pitch high, 1-0. Souders with 1 hit in the doubleheader on Saturday. That 1 hit came in 8 trips to the plate. He did score 2 runs. Stretch and the pitch, swung on and popped up high into. Acox comes on and makes the play for the second out.
Once again, a good pitch by Cale Curtis. He's been right around the plate. A simple routine pop-up to short center field. Chris Acox had no trouble with it. I feel pretty good right now the way Cale's throwing, Kevin.
So far, it has been very good for Cale Curtis. He'll be facing Chris Crawford now as he faces the meat of this Wheeler order. Crawford digging in there. Had a pretty good doubleheader on Saturday. We'll discuss that in a moment. Meanwhile, the first pitch to him is taken high for ball 1. He was 2 for 3 in the first game of the double dip and 3 for 4 in the nightcap. Curtis to the stretch position, and his delivery on the way high. 2 balls, no strikes to the Wheeler center fielder.
Kind of a good purpose pitch there, though. He's crowding the plate like a lot of these Wheeler hitters tend to do, and he's backed away from it a little bit. Cale trying to claim back his part of the plate.
Now we'll see where he goes here with the 2-0 offering on the way. There's a strike on the outside corner, 2-1. And Cale Curtis has not missed high or outside like he does when he is wild.
No, he seems to have a pretty good grasp for it right here and is throwing well.
Crawford awaits. The 2-1 swung on and missed. He had a big hack at it at the drop ball that was coming inside to him. It's 2-2.
Cale seems to have good control of all of his pitches there. He did take a little something off that, and it dropped down into the lower part of the strike zone.
The 2-2 on the way. Swung on and missed. Cale Curtis sets him down 1-2-3 here in the first. So a good start. Let's hope the Ram offense has as good a start as the pitching does. We'll head to the bottom half of the first with no score from Riverside Park, Newton County High School. Newton County Rams in the rubber game of this 3-game series in the state playoffs here on WGFS AM 1430. Riverside Park, Newton County High School, the site of this state playoff game. Newton County Rams and Wheeler Wildcats, no score. We're in the bottom half of inning number 1. Here's your lineup for the Newton County Rams. They'll lead it off with Ryan Allen at second base. Matt Hires is the shortstop. Lance Shannon in right field bats third. Sam Allen, the third baseman, is the cleanup hitter. Judd Hall will be in left field batting fifth. Brian Moon, the catcher, will be the number 6 hitter. Richie Cleary at first base bats seventh. Matt Taylor is the DH. He'll hit eighth. And Cale Curtis rounds out the order as the pitcher. Setting up your defense for the Wheeler Wildcats, J.J. Thomas, Chris Crawford, and Brooks Souders from left around to right in the outfield. Frank Smith is the third baseman. Tigger Marshall at shortstop. Ash Gale is the second baseman. Brian Seals at first. Taylor Clark behind the dish. And on the mound is Reed Tarantino, very small right-handed pitcher. Throws a lot of off-speed stuff, and the Rams will have to stay back and try to drive the off-speed pitches if they hope to get around here on Tarantino, and they'll lead it off with Ryan Allen. Allen digs in at .330 on the year, a home run, 18 RBI, swings at the first pitch, grounds it to Seals, who makes a good play, smothering the ball, steps on the bag for the first out. Allen hit the first pitch, which was a good one, but Seals was right there for the first out. Reed Tarantino came in the second game of the doubleheader that was played on Saturday. He threw 2 innings. Facing 6 hitters, he gave up 1 hit. He walked 1, did not give up a run, and he also did not strike out a hitter. And as slow as he throws, there will be very few strikeouts for him in this game. Matt Hires, the hitter, takes the first pitch outside and low for ball 1. Hires batting .359, 4 home runs, 17 RBI. He's got a very high on-base average of .520. Due to those 16 walks he has. He swings and pops one up into center field. Crawford, ranging over toward left center, makes the play for the second out. Hires hit the ball well, but he was under it. 2 up, 2 down here quickly in the first, and Lance Shannon will step in. A .425 hitter, 2 home runs. Tarantino calls for a conference as Taylor Clark goes out to the mound. Apparently they want to know how to pitch here to Lance Shannon. And Clark goes out, and he's a good 6 inches taller and had to look down at his pitcher, Reed Tarantino. If I'm Tarantino on those conferences, I think I stay on top of the hill and let Clark stand in front so we're about the same height. Shannon digs in there. The lefty awaits. First pitch to him, called strike, outside corner. It's 0-1. Tarantino's fastball very slow. Depends on the breaking ball and the other curveballs and off-speed pitches that the Rams will have to look for. Pitch to Shannon high on the off-speed, and it's 1-1. Tarantino reminiscent of Mike Boddicker. Pitched for the Orioles and Red Sox and a couple other teams. Slow, slower, and slowest. The 1-1. Swung on and hit deep to right field. Souders going back, still going back on it. This one is out of here. Lance Shannon has just hit one deep to right field and has put the Rams on top by a run. That man has been on fire the last 3 games. Lance Shannon with the deep drive to right field. Souders made it appear like it was going to be a lazy fly ball to right field. He was a good 6 or 7 steps from the warning track, suddenly sprinting back there toward the warning track. He got turned around a couple of times, finally ran out of room out there at the wall, and the Rams with an early lead. Shannon's 3rd home run, his 37th RBI, putting him in the team lead. He was tied with this man, Sam Allen, who steps to the plate. Sam Allen has been as hot as any hitter could possibly be at this high school level. He's at .402 now with 2 homers, 36 RBI. He was at .333 several weeks ago as he takes one high for ball 1. Sam Allen's name of the game is aggressiveness. Going after pitches in the strike zone, trying to drive them. And in the second game of the doubleheader, he had a home run and 2 doubles in his first 3 trips. There's a called strike on the, I guess you'd call it the eephus pitch. It's 1-1. Tarantino threw a slow ball. Slow even by slow ball standards, and it caught the inside corner. The wind. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on and grounded hard toward the third baseman, Frank Smith. He makes the play. His throw to first is in the dirt, but scooped out by Seals. The Rams go down here, but they score a run on 1 hit, and they take the early 1-0 lead as we go to the second inning. Newton County Ram baseball, the second round of the state playoffs here on WGFS AM 1430. Riverside Park, Newton County High School. It's the rubber match of a 3-game set. Newton County Rams Wheeler Wildcats matched up in this series in the second round of the state Quad A baseball playoffs. Rams lead it 1-0 here. In the second inning, Cale Curtis pitching to the meat of the order here, starting with J.J. Thomas. The big righty awaits, and the first pitch to him. There's a strike on the outside corner. J.J. Thomas, John Morris, and Taylor Clark, the 3 hitters here for the Wildcats. Curtis brings up even with no one on base. He's 75. Delivers high and outside, 1-1. Out 2 men in the first inning. Tag is on pitch. 1 pitch swung on, grounded hard, third base line, smothered by Sam Allen. His throw to first will not be in time. J.J. Thomas has some speed, and he beats out the hit down the third baseline. Sam Allen did a good job of knocking the ball down, but by the time he'd recovered, J.J. Thomas was at first base. So Wheeler has a runner on here with no one out, bringing up John Morris. Morris DHing for the pitcher, Reed Tarantino. Rams have a distinct advantage here as Morris bats from the left-hand side, so lefty against lefty, as Curtis stretches and delivers high and outside, ball 1. Curtis has an excellent pickoff move, so Thomas should not stray too far away from first base. Cale has picked off several runners this year. Here comes a throw to first base. Close play, but he just got back in under the tag. Curtis for a left-hander. His leg kick looks the same going home as it does going to first base. Kicking his leg out toward first base. The runners don't realize it till the last second. Sometimes they don't get back in time. Here's the pitch. Swung on, grounded out in front of the plate. Moon will take it. He's going to let it roll now, and it'll be a foul ball. And a good heads-up play from Brian Moon, the catcher, letting that one roll. All hands would have been safe. It was nubbed right down the first baseline, about 40 feet out in front of the plate. Moon was out there. Cale Curtis was about to pounce on it. Moon told him to hold up for just a moment and watched as the ball rolled just foul. Baseball is a game of inches. Could have been first and second with no one out, but instead, still a runner at first and a 1-1 count here. Morris takes his cuts and he's back in. Curtis throws one high with the fastball, and it's 2-1. Here at Riverside Park, your dimensions are just like this. 320 to left field to that foul pole. To dead center, it's 360 feet, and to right, it's 310. J.J. Thomas singled to lead off the inning, and he takes his lead away from first base. Richie Cleary, the first baseman, holding him close. The stretch, Thomas is going, the pitch is in the dirt. Here's Moon's throw down there, and he is not in time. The throw beat him down there, but was to the shortstop side of the bag. Hires had to take it and bring it across, and the cleanup batter steals a base. J.J. Thomas, in addition to having lots of power, has some speed out there, too. We saw that when he beat out the infield hit. And now he has stolen second base. 3 balls, 1 strike now to Morris. Ryan Moon flashes the sign. Curtis to the stretch position, checks the runner, and his 3-1 is swung on and popped up right behind us, and now the count is full, 3-2. So Curtis trying to come back after John Morris here with a 3-2 count. On deck is Taylor Clark. Morris had 2 hits in the doubleheader on Saturday. He scored 3 runs. Also had 4 RBI. Thomas leads away from second. Hires going in to make sure that he's close to the bag. The stretch, the 3-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Good pitch from Cale Curtis. On the inside part of the plate, Morris swung right through it. That ball was tailing into the left-hander, and a lefty is going to have a lot of trouble with those balls tailing in. That's exactly what happened there as the first out is made. Taylor Clark will be the hitter. Clark went hitless in the doubleheader. A couple of sacrifice flies to his credit, however. The stretch and the pitch on the way to him. Swung on it, popped up, foul territory, first base side. Cleary looks at it. Allen comes over, can't make the play in foul territory. Three people converging on the pop fly, Shannon, Allen, and Cleary in foul territory. They sort of looked at each other. Allen finally took charge, but was too far away to make the play. It looked like it might have been Cleary's ball in foul territory. But Taylor Clark gets a new life here, and it's 0-1. You could tell that Cale Curtis has velocity and that he also has movement. Using the fastballs to get the strikeouts, but using the movement to get the weak pop-ups. 0-1 the count. The right-hander Taylor Clark digs in. The lefty Cale Curtis to the belt, and his pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen. Just hit the top of that screen. It's 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to the Wildcat catcher. Wheeler advanced to the second round by sweeping Harrison High School in a doubleheader. Newton County advanced with a very dramatic 3-game series, finally beating Southwest DeKalb 5-4 in that third game after trailing 4-0. The 0-2 pitch on the way, just got a piece of it, fouled it back. It remains 0-2. Runner at second base here for the Wildcats, and 1 down. Thanks to a Lance Shannon home run, the Rams currently have the lead 1-0 here in the top of the second. Clark is once again ready to go. Ryan Allen, the second baseman, now bird-dogging the bag. Now he's back to his position in the 0-2. Swung on and missed. That's the first good off-speed pitch we've seen. It was a straight change from Cale Curtis. Taylor Clark goes down, the 4th strikeout for the Ram left-hander. He has been strong so far, facing 6 batters, striking out 4. Has not walked a man. That is his key. Brian Seals now stepping in, another lefty versus lefty matchup, and the Ram defense will play him around to pull. Stretch and the pitch. There's a strike on the knees, inside corner. It's 0-1. The shift that they have on here on Seals, not quite as bad as a Ted Williams shift, but Hires is about 6 steps to the shortstop side of second base. And Ryan Allen in short right center field. The stretch and the pitch swung on and hit to left field. Coming across, though, is Judd Hall, and he makes the catch for the 3rd out. Hall playing his first game out in left field this year. No runs, 1 hit, a runner left on base. Bottom of the second, coming up with your score. Newton County 1, Wheeler nothing. Newton County Ram baseball right here on WGFS AM 1430.
And welcome back to Riverside Park. Judd Hall up at the dish, and here's Kevin Holden to give you the play-by-play.
Judd Hall on a 0-2 count, swings and misses at a high outside off-speed pitch. He goes down for the first out here. Rams lead at 1-0. We're in the second inning, and Bill, this is the rubber match of a 3-game series, and a victory here means the Rams travel into the semifinals of the state tournament.
That's correct. That would put them into the Final Four, and anything after that is pure gravy. It's been a great season, but let's go ahead and make that Final Four and go all the way and win that state title, Kevin.
The Ram fans and Ram players would like nothing more. Brian Moon, the hitter, he'll take the first pitch high for ball 1. Moon and Cleary will be the next 2. Cale Curtis has now faced 7 hitters. He's gotten 4 strikeouts, 2 pop-outs, and a single that was on the infield, so he's pitched well through 2 innings. First pitch to Moon, or the 1-0 pitch rather, swung on and popped up into shallow center field. Going out as the shortstop, and Marshall makes the play. Almost collided with Ash Gale out there, but he makes the play for the second out.
He finally did call him off it and was able to come up with it. Brian had that ball in on his fist and kind of popped it up. I would like to say a little something about Lance Shannon. It seems every time I come out, he manages to get a hold of one. I think I've been here for every one of his home runs this year so far.
I believe so, Bill. As a matter of fact, what you should do is leave and come back right before he hits the next time. That way, maybe he'll hit another one out. Richie Cleary, the hitter, swings at the first offering that came in about 35 miles an hour and fouled it off to the screen, 0-1, and Tarantino getting slower as they go along.
That was slower than slow. Richie held, and finally swung and was still out in front of it.
Second time through the order, I get the feeling the Rams will finally be adjusted to this. The 0-1 swung on a line hard on 2 hops. Marshall makes the play cleanly, though, and his throw is in time. And the Rams go down 1-2-3 in the second. We head to the third inning. It is 1-0 Newton County on top. Newton County Ram baseball here on WGFS AM 1430.
And welcome back to Riverside Park, Newton County Rams state playoff action. We head to the top of the third inning. So far, Cale Curtis appears to have his really good stuff. How long can he last?
Opportunity is calling. Can the Rams answer is the question. Cale Curtis out there on the hill. He will face the 8, 9, and 1 spots in the order here. In the third inning, it'll be Ash Gale, Frank Smith, and Tigger Marshall. The bottom 2 spots, then the top of the order for the Wildcats here in the top half of inning number 3. There's been a scoring change. J.J. Thomas's ball in the second inning has now been ruled an error on Sam Allen. Sam Allen, the third baseman, knocked it down, but the official score has changed that one to an E5. There's only base hit to that point, and now with the scoring change, that's 1-1. Ash Gale stepping in, wears the same uniform number as the position he plays. He wears number 4 and plays second base, and he takes the first pitch low and inside, ball 1. Gale, a right-handed batter. Sam Allen in shallow at third base, anticipating a possible bunt. Curtis's pitch is outside, and now 2 balls, no strikes here to the leadoff man in the third inning.
He's still keeping the ball down pretty well, Kevin, which is usually a good sign for Cale. He's not up high and wild, so hopefully he can come in on this 2-0 pitch here.
And it's on the way. Swung on and grounded right back up the middle. Hires cuts across. Can't make the play. It's in center field for a hit. Gale starts it off with a knock right back up the middle.
He sent that one right back where it came from. Cale was turned around a little bit. It looked like for a moment he flagged at it, might get a chance to get a glove on it, but once it got by him, you knew it was going into center field. No doubt about that one. That's a clean base hit.
So a runner at first base here with nobody out. Frank Smith, the hitter, the number 9 batter in the order. Digging in there. That's from the right-hand side. Again, Allen in just a little shallow at third base. The stretch and the pitch was low, and he had the runner headed back to first base there on his leg kick.
That's a good sign if he can hold them that way. If they're going the wrong way, they're not going to get that good jump, so that ground ball gives it.
Brian Moon looks at the third base dugout, has the sign he wants, relays it to his pitcher. Curtis to the stretch position. The runner's going here. The 1-1 may have hit him, and it did. Hit him on the left side of the body. Curtis was coming inside. It tailed a little too far in, and so the first 2 men are on.
Cale just has to settle down, not let that bother him. He's pitching well. He can come back and throw strikes and get these hitters out. Not anything that he can't recover from. What he needs to do is just keep himself together. Sam Allen over there talking to him, tell him just calm down and keep throwing strikes like he's been doing.
That's a part of pitching inside. Every once in a while, one gets away. And Smith was hit by that inside pitch. Now 2 runners on in the top of the order in Tigger Marshall. The runners lead from first and second. Curtis in a minor jam here in the third. He's to the stretch position. His pitch is bunted and popped up. Cleary coming on, can't make the play in foul territory. He would not have had a chance at it. It's 0-1. But Marshall popped that bunt up and a couple of feet to either side over toward the foul line, a couple of feet toward first base, and Cleary might have had a play.
He came hard on it. Richie gave it a good effort, and Cale and Brian Moon also going towards it. That's a good high, hard one. It's a real tough pitch to bunt. Cale threw a good pitch there with him trying to bunt.
Marshall, a strikeout victim in the first inning. He struck out looking. He is set to go. 1-0 is your score. A stark contrast from the first 2 games of this one. There's a strike. It's 0-2. Good pitch from Cale Curtis at the knees.
Be a good place for a strikeout here. Cale coming back strong after the hit batsman, coming right after this hitter, Tigger Marshall, throwing strikes. He could really use a strikeout here.
35 runs in the first 2 games, and so far 1 here in the third game. 0-2 on the way. It's outside. A waste pitch, 1-2. Brooks Souders on deck. Runners at first and second. No one out. We're in the top half of the third. Rams with that ever so slim 1-0 lead. The way this Wheeler team hits, they came back from a 5-run deficit, so you've got to know 1-run lead. Certainly not safe at all. The 1-2 just missing outside. A good fastball, 2-2.
It's got him leaning out over that plate a little bit. It might be a good time to come in and bust him in on the hands and either blow it by him for the strike or get a weak grounder where maybe they can turn to.
Ash Gale, the runner at second. The runner at first is Frank Smith. They lead away. Stretched by Curtis, the 2-2. Swung on and grounded to Sam Allen at third base. He will step on the bag for one. That's all he'll get. But that is a good play, getting the leading lady at third base. But one down and a double play grounder gets you out of the inning.
That's true. With nobody out, that probably is a good lead runner. With one out, I think you probably would have wanted to go ahead and go around the horn, the old 5-4-3, try and get the twin killing. But Sam with a good stop there. That ball was hit hard. He came up with it and took the force out, and then fortunately held the ball instead of taking a chance on throwing it away.
Brooks Souders now the hitter. Got under the ball last time, hit a pop fly to Chris Acox in center field. Stretch in the first pitch. Swung and grounded hard into left field for a base hit. Rounding third, now holding up is Frank Smith as Hall gets the ball back in, so the base is loaded here with one down. Smith now at third, Marshall at second, and Souders at first. And on that sharp ground ball, Smith holding up at third base.
I thought for a minute he might go there. Judd Hall did not get a very good throw off there coming into the plate. You got to wonder if he might be suffering a little ill effects from the last game that he pitched in.
Possibility he may still have some arm pain that may have affected his arm. One reason why he might be in left field. Usually that's where your weakest outfield arm is. Chris Crawford, now the hitter, takes a pitch outside. Ball one. Bases loaded. One out here. Cale Curtis looking to bail out of this jam. So far, no one has come across, but serious danger here in the third. A runner at every base. The pitch on the way. Missing outside. 2-0.
Ram defense still in at the corners at first and third, second and short, looking for the double play to get him out of the inning.
Moon with the sign. Here's the stretch and the 2-0 pitch. There's the strike. Outside corner at the knees. 2 balls, 1 strike to count. Very little wind here at Riverside Park. So anything that gets out of the ballpark is going to have to be the batter's doing, and no wind-aided home runs today. Stretch in the 2-1. Outside, 3-1. One more wide one, and it's 1-1.
That pitch was real close. He's been right around the plate on every pitch to this batter, but he is showing good discipline and laying off those pitches just outside the strike zone.
Curtis is yet to walk a hitter, but he's in danger of doing so here as he comes to the stretch position and is 3-1. Low, ball 4. That one looked awfully close, but a run will score. In fact, the runner at third base, Frank Smith, held up for a couple extra seconds thinking it was a strike call. The base on ball scores a run and ties us up at 1 apiece.
And we're going to get a little activity in the Ram bullpen. It looked like it was Luke Allen going down there to throw, Kevin.
So the sophomore right-hander going down there. And Charlie Beverly goes out and has a discussion here with Curtis and Moon. Now you're in a very dangerous situation with the bases loaded and 1 out and facing absolutely the most dangerous hitter in this lineup, J.J. Thomas. Thomas in the first game of the doubleheader on Saturday, 3 for 3, a home run, a double, a single, and a walk. In the second game, he had 1 hit and 3 trips to the plate.
Cale was so close on each of those pitches to the plate there. Particularly the last one, I thought sure he had thrown a strike there to go full in the count.
Marshall leads from third, Souders from second, and Crawford from first. Curtis, the stretch position, is pitched to Thomas. There's a called strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Big J.J. Thomas, a right-handed batter. Scares you to see him up there in a bases-loaded situation. It is 1-1. The 0-1 pitch on the way outside with the fastball. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Brian Moon did a good job getting outside and keeping in front of that one. That ball was quite a bit outside. Still down in the strike zone, though. He's not up like he normally is when he gets wild.
And the 1-1 is on the way. Here it is outside. 2 balls, 1 strike now the count to the Wild. 5 straight men have reached base here, opening the third inning. There is 1 out. A ground ball to Sam Allen with runners at first and second, and he was able to step on the third base bag for the first out. And on the way is the 2-1 offering, high, 3-1.
Brian Moon took a look down at third base and faked the throw. the runner getting back in time.
That's Tigger Marshall out there, taking his lead from third base. Curtis to the belt. His 3-1 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. Thomas had a big cut at the off speed. It's 3-2.
What a great pitch by Cale Curtis there, because Thomas was just digging in, looking for anything to really drive, and Cale fooled him bad with that pitch.
Curtis needing to throw a strike here, 3-2, or a run would score. Here's the 3-2 on the way, swung on and missed. Big J.J. Thomas goes down swinging for the third time in the series, and Curtis may have just saved himself in this game by striking out Thomas.
That's a big out to this point in this game. They're probably, as you said, their toughest batter. He came after him from a 3-1 deficit and threw just 2 perfect pitches.
Now he's got to come after John Morris, who was a strikeout victim his first time. Bases loaded, but 2 down now. First pitch inside, 1-0. Curtis has struck out 5 batters in 2 2/3 innings. He's given up 1 run on 2 hits. He's walked a man. He's also hit a man. Once again, the runners lead. The 1-0 delivery on the way. May have checked his swing at it. They'll check the third base ump, who said, yes, he did go on it. A ball and a strike to count. The half swing on the off speed. He went around.
Came in right on the fist and fooled him bad, and he did go around on the play. This would be huge to get out of this inning with only 1 run scoring.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down. The 1-1 pitch is high. A strong fastball, but up high. 2 balls, 1 strike. John Morris had a double and a single in the first game of this 3-game series. The winner of this game goes on to play the winner of Evans versus Windsor Forest. The 2-1 pitch, inside, ball 3. And a close one, but just missing inside.
He's been so close to the plate on all the misses, Kevin. It's almost inches that he's missing by.
That time is called, and Curtis will step out. Evans playing Windsor Forest today as those 2 teams split. And whoever wins that series will be the home team hosting the winner of this particular game. The stretch. And a 3-1 pitch. Swung on and hit hard to left field. Going back on it is Hall. And he makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. And you can breathe easy again. 1 run, 2 hits, and 3 enormous runners left on base. Bottom of the 3rd. 1-1 your score. Newton County Ram baseball here on WGFS AM 1430.
And welcome back to Riverside Park. Exciting Newton County Ram baseball. What a fine job Cale Curtis did getting out of that inning. Kevin, what do you think? How about a couple runs?
That would be just fine by me. It's Matt Taylor, Cale Curtis, and Ryan Allen, 8th, 9th, and 1st in the order. Reed Tarantino out there for his 3rd full inning of work. He's given up 1 hit, a long ball to Lance Shannon. That's the Ram run. Cale Curtis walked in a run. In the top half of the 3rd inning, Taylor awaits. The first pitch is swung on and popped up high to left field. J.J. Thomas is coming in, and he makes the play on the Major League pop for the 1st out.
He got under it just a little bit, did get a pretty good swing at it. I know we've been ready for this game, Kevin. We went and had our pregame meal before we got here.
That is absolutely right. Our belly's full of hot wings from the Hard Luck Cafe. No better place to go on a day like this. And we're ready for baseball, and who knows, if you get a chance, you should drop by there.
That's true. For the best hot wings around, go see Randy down at the Hard Luck, the Little Red Building by Nationwide.
Cale Curtis now the hitter, and the first pitch to him is a called strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Reed Tarantino has a pretty good knowledge of pitching from the 3 or 4 innings that we've seen. Doesn't throw hard, but he throws different speeds. His wind and his pitch, swung on and missed. Curtis swinging at a pitch about ankle high, 0-2.
He was kind of fooled by it. He appears to be speed stuff. Cale has been hitting so well lately, but his timing appears to be off on this off-speed stuff.
Tarantino into the wind. His 0-2 pitch is outside, 1-2. He has a slow fastball and an extremely slow changeup, but what happens is there's enough of a difference in speeds where the hitter still has to be concentrating on both pitches, and it still throws the hitter's timing off, and the 1-2 rather is in the dirt, 2-2.
Trying to get a little too cute on towards that outside play. The catcher set way outside. Taylor Clark did with the 0-2 count. In fact, I think Cale saw him get that far outside.
Here's the wind and the 2-2 on the way. It just misses outside, and now the count is full as Curtis has worked it to 3-2.
I don't believe that pitch would have even registered on a radar gun, Kevin.
0 on the radar gun. Just a fly going through. The 3-2 pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen. It remains 3-2. hit the upper tier of the screen. Might have been headed this way otherwise.
Looked like it was coming right for us and hit that top tier. And like you said, it's going to take just the absolute perfect pop fly to get into the booth up here with us.
I think most Ram fans would say the perfect pop fly would fall over the right field wall. The pitch to Curtis is swung on and popped up in the infield. 3 people going out there now. Frank Smith, the third baseman in foul territory, makes the play for the second out. Wheeler with good communication, something the Rams did not have in a ball down the right field line that Cleary and Allen were out there, and Allen finally had to make a try for and really was far away, but Smith made the play there in good communication.
That's true. They talked to each other and let know who was going to take it. Everybody else got out of the way, and that ball was drifting a little, almost came back into fair territory.
Ryan Allen now the hitter, and the first pitch to him is outside for ball 1. Now it's the second time through the order, and this Ram lineup has seen Tarantino one time. Have a feeling that their fortunes are going to change. They got 1 hit the first time through the order. The wind and the pitch swung on and popped up into left field. Could be trouble. Thomas is going over. In foul territory, makes the play, though. And that is out 3. The Rams go down 1-2-3. And in the 4th, your score is 1-1. Newton County Ram baseball state playoffs in Quad A right here on WGFS AM 1430.
And welcome back to Riverside Park on a beautiful day for baseball. Abner Doubleday knew what he was doing when he just invented baseball. And now to the man who knows how to call play-by-play, Kevin Holden.
I think Doubleday had this kind of day in mind. And it was a day to play 2 on Saturday, now a day to play 1. The winner of this game keeps their 94 state title hopes alive and moves to the semifinals. The loser of this game says goodbye to their 1994 season. Taylor Clark, the hitter. He'll be followed by Brian Seals and Ash Gale at 6, 7, and 8 in the order. Curtis's first pitch on the way is high, a ball, no strikes. And Curtis got out of a big jam last inning, walking a man, hitting a man, giving up 2 hits, but leaving the bases loaded with 1 run scoring. Clark struck out his first time. Curtis's stretch and pitch, high, 2-0.
Still with real good velocity on the ball. That ball hummed into Brian Moon's catcher's mitt and was not that far outside. He's still right around that strike zone.
Clark is going to make Curtis throw a strike. He only threw 1 of them in the warm-up tosses. The pitch on the way, outside, 3-0. And Curtis had some wild ones in those warm-up tosses to begin this inning. And Clark saw that, and he's going to wait for a strike. Now with 3-0, the take sign certainly on all the way. Stretch by Curtis, and is 3-0, high, ball 4.
Appeared to try to overthrow that one a little bit as he reached back for something, which has tended to be his problem this year. When he tries to overthrow, he starts getting up high and wide in that strike zone.
The second man that he has walked here in the inning, and the batter will be Brian Seals. Seals popped out to Judd Hall back in the second inning. Seals a left-handed batter, so maybe Curtis can recover here, going lefty versus lefty. That sometimes gives a psychological advantage to the pitcher. Curtis's first pitch low, though, and it's a ball, no strikes. The Rams senior hurler has missed with 5 straight now. And Clark leads away from first. Stretch now going over to first base, and Clark is back in. He wasn't a step or a step and a half off the bag.
That's true, but I think Cale just wanted to let him know he knew he was there, keep him close to the bag, trying to keep him from getting a good running start or an attempted steal.
Wildcats have 1 stolen base so far in this game. Pitch is low, but very near the strike zone. 6 straight now Curtis has missed with. It's 2-0.
As the old saying goes, though, close only counts in horseshoes, and Cale has been really close, but not getting the calls from the home plate umpire.
Once again, the runner leads. The 2-0 on the way. Swung on and fouled straight back. It's 2-1. Rams won the first game of the doubleheader Saturday, 9-7, coming back from a 6-1 deficit. They scored 2 runs in the 3rd and 5 in the 5th. Another one in the 6th to top it off, but in the nightcap, the Rams had a 5-run lead and blew it in the 6th inning, giving up a 5 spot, then another run in the 8th to seal the Wheeler 10-9 victory. There's a swing and a miss. That looked like Cale took something off that one. It's 2-2.
Good pitch there by Cale Curtis. The pitch previous to that, I believe that Brian Seals helped him out a little bit. It looked like it was a little bit inside and up in the strike zone, and with 2-0 and Cale having not thrown a strike, I believe he helped him out.
Now a 2-2 count and the 2-2 pitch on the way outside, and the count has been run full. Something you don't want to do as a pitcher who is having control troubles is to have the full count. Now you feel the extra pressure to throw a strike. Seals digs in pretty close to the home plate area. Throw going over to first here on the full count, and Clark is back in. But the Seals about 6 inches away from home plate.
Probably once again just a purpose throw over there. A lot of teams like to run with a full count on the batter, so Cale wanted to try and keep him a little closer so he could not get that running start off the base.
3 years running, the Rams have won the South Metro Championship. They were region champs this year, looking for more. There's a swing and a hard ground ball into right field for a base hit. Stopping at second base will be Clark. First and second, no one out for Wheeler, and another headache possibly here, another jam here in the fourth, with the score tied at 1 apiece.
And like you said, with the 3-2 count, the added pressure on Cale Curtis not wanting to walk him. He had to come in and get a little too good with the pitch, and he was able to rip it into right field right between the hole.
Ash Gale will now be the hitter, singled his first time. Wheeler now with 4 hits, all of them singles. Clark at second and Seals at first, as Wheeler's head coach Dave McDonald gives the sign to Ash Gale, who's ready to go at home plate. He awaits the first offering from Cale Curtis, which is a strike, and it's 0-1.
This is the guy Cale really needs to come after. This is the great place for the strikeout or the pop-up on the infield. Go ahead and get that first out and set himself up for the double play on the next batter to get out of the inning.
Clark takes his lead well behind second base. Stretch and the pitch, swung on and popped up into shallow right field. Shannon comes hard. Allen calls him off, and he has it for the first out, and that's a worthless out if you're Wheeler, as that advances no one.
I didn't notice where the umpires called it, but that probably was the infield fly rule there, wasn't it, Kevin?
I would think so. It was on the fringe of the outfield grass, and for those of you who are not familiar, the infield fly rule is to keep an infielder from intentionally dropping a pop fly and being able to turn a double or a triple play with runners holding their bases at first and second. 1 out, and Frank Smith, the hitter. The double play now a possibility and would get the Rams out of the inning. Smith digging in there. The pitch is lined to left field, but foul. 0-1. He got on top of it and drove it a long way, but a foul ball.
Cale took something off it, and he got way out in front of it. Well, we got the pop-up. We've got it set up. Let's go ahead and get the double play and get out of the inning.
No harm done on that line drive foul. But Curtis may not show Smith another off-speed pitch the rest of this at bat. Setting up outside, the pitch is a fastball low. And it's 1-1.
Good stop by Brian Moon. That one got down in the dirt a little bit. He was able to keep and smother it in front of him. It only trickled away just a couple inches. Runners not able to advance.
Wildcats with a run on 4 hits. Rams have 1 hit, but it was a long ball. That accounts for their run. The 1-1 pitch. Strike called outside corner. It's 1-2. Curtis put the fastball right where he wanted it. Smith in a hole. Following him is Tigger Marshall, the top of the order. Curtis wants to come after this guy, the number 9 hitter in the order. He'd much rather face Marshall with 2 down. Here's the stretch. And the 1-2 pitch outside with the fastball. He missed by about a foot. It's 2-2. That first pitch of the at-bat, Smith hit the off-speed pitch hard, and Curtis tried to throw as fast a fastball as he has thrown here in this game, but it was well outside.
Might be setting him up for that inside fastball now, though, Kevin.
Could be true, and Moon does set up inside. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way, inside, but popped foul, out of play. It remains 2-2, and a good job of setting up there by Curtis and Moon, as well as Charlie Beverly, who calls the pitches many times from the dugout.
Good pitch there. Frank Smith was barely able to fight it off, but a good pitch by Cale Curtis.
Now he's come outside and gone back inside. Looks like Moon is set up inside again. The stretch, the 2-2, swung on, just got a piece of it, bounces out in front, but a foul ball. Remains 2-2. Rams might have benefited by that being a fair ball, but it rolled foul just a few feet in front of home plate on the first base side.
It was kind of queuing around. It was hard to tell what was going, so it was probably, as it stayed foul, it turned out to probably be the better play. Brian Moon hustled out to keep it foul, so it could not roll back into fair territory then.
Taylor Clark at second base and Brian Seals at first. The runners lead away. 1 out here in the fourth. Cale Curtis has given the Rams 3 1/3 innings, given up only 1 run so far. Here's the 1-2 pitch, swung on and popped up. Ryan Allen is going to call for it. That's the infield fly rule in the second out, and Cale Curtis has gotten 2 weak pop-ups here after putting the first 2 men on base.
And that time we definitely did see the umpires raise a hand signifying the infield fly rule. So even if he dropped the ball, the batter would be out.
Switch hitting shortstop Tigger Marshall now stepping to the plate. This guy's the leadoff man in the order, and a tough man to retire. In 2 at-bats so far, he has struck out and reached on a fielder's choice. Batting from the right-hand side here, and the first pitch to him is taken for a strike, 0-1. Cale Curtis got the call in the 3rd game against Southwest DeKalb and had some trouble. He's gotten the call in the 3rd game here and has had rough spots, but so far has been in good shape. He comes to the belt. His 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed, and Marshall nowhere near the curveball. He was looking fastball all the way.
Cale's doing something here that normally we don't see him do. When he's gotten into trouble, he's gutted it up, and he's pitching around it and coming back and really coming after these hitters. Really a gutsy performance so far. Let's hope he can keep it up.
0-2 the count. Clark walked to lead off the inning. Seals singled, but they're standing right where they were after that base hit. Gale popped out. Smith popped out. And an 0-2 count on Marshall. The stretch. The 0-2 pitch. Swung on and grounded on one hop. It's over Sam Allen's head into left field for a hit. 1 run will score. Stopping at second base is Brian Seals. Wheeler leads at 2-1. Marshall hit the ball well. It was a one-hopper that went over the head of Sam Allen into left field.
Almost real reminiscent of the ball that won the game Saturday night. Just kind of one-hopped over Sam's head. He didn't have much of a chance on. Not extremely well hit, but just enough to get over the head. Good play going over and getting the ball, cutting the ball off Judd Hall, getting it back in, keeping the runner at second base, so he was not able to move over to third.
And Brooks Souders now the hitter. He is 1 for 2. First and second, 2 down. Wildcats lead it 2-1. Stretch and the first pitch. Swung on and popped up into right field. Shannon should make the play for the 3rd out. 1 run for the Wildcats on a couple of base hits. 2 men left on base. We head to the bottom half of the 4th with the Wildcats on top, 2-1. Newton County Ram baseball, the state playoffs. Rubber game of a 3-game set here on WGFS AM 1430.
And welcome back to Riverside Park, Newton County, as the Rams have fallen behind by 1 run, but a team that likes to come from behind. Kevin Holden, can you get us some runs?
You know, we mentioned that the team that falls behind, it probably has the edge based on the first 2 games. Both teams blew 5-run leads. Wheeler blew it in the first game. The Rams did the same in the second, so maybe Wheeler can return the favor to the Rams here in game number 3. It'll be Hires, Shannon, and Sam Allen due up there. Hires looks at the first one outside, ball 1. The Rams have sent 10 men to the plate. 1 has reached base. That was a home run by Lance Shannon. Probably so, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike here to Matt Hires. The wind and the delivery, high, 3-1.
That's what we need is some base runners. As you said, we've only had the 1 hit, and that ball left the yard, so we need to get some runners on base, get some things going, because that's Ram baseball.
Hires has a good eye at the plate, taking 16 walks, and there's a called strike on the 3-1. Full count now, 3-2.
You got to feel if he can get on, he'll be running, having set that team single-season record for stolen base.
And the 3-2 is high, ball 4. So now we have the base runner. We're trailing by a run here in the bottom half of the 4th inning, and we've got 2 hot, red-hot hitters to try to get that run home here as the Rams trail at 2-1 in the bottom half of inning number 4 behind a fairly strong pitching performance by Cale Curtis. Shannon now the hitter. Drove 1 deep to right field. In fact, he almost hit the Shannon Plumbing sign out there. That would have been poetic justice. That was back in the first. The pitch on the way to him is high, 1-0. They may not give Shannon a whole lot to hit, but guess what, folks? Sam Allen is right behind him, and he's been just as dangerous as anybody.
That's right. What a 1-2 punch they've got in that lineup right now.
Hires leads away. An off-speed pitcher, good to steal on. Pitch to Shannon, swung on, grounded. Over towards second base. The only play will be to first. Hires advances to second base. The second baseman, Ash Gale, made a good play going into the hole between first and second to make the play. Thought about going to second, but decided against it.
That would have been a bad mistake on his part because he never would have got Matthew Hires at second base. Once he ranged that far to his left, he needed to think strictly just going to first base, and he almost didn't get Shannon on the play then.
Tying run, 2 bases away, and here's Sam Allen to try to deliver. He grounded hard to the third baseman last time up. and they may purposely pass him. That's exactly what they're going to do. Sam Allen receives the intentional walk. He's been red hot. They know it, and they pass him.
And that's 3 times out of his last 4 at-bats that he has been passed intentionally. When you get the hot hitter, you don't want to let him beat you. That's the old theory. Don't let the team's #1 hitter beat you.
Well, Judd Hall is up, and he's been red hot of his own. 3 hits in the first game of the doubleheader. He had no hits in 2 at-bats in the second game, but was removed. He was the pitcher in that game. The first pitch to him is swung on and fouled off. No balls, 1 strike, as Hall swinging at a pitch outside the strike zone. Hires at second, Sam Allen at first here with 1 down.
It's hard to be patient with this slow breaking ball and the easy let-up. You really have to be patient and disciplined at the plate, though, and wait for the good pitch.
The stretch and the pitch outside, and it's 1-1. Tarantino throwing that off-speed stuff, keeps it out of the middle of the plate. He's done a good job of that, keeping the ball near the outside part of the plate so that that off-speed stuff can't be driven to the gaps. Once again, the runners lead away. Middle infielders cheating toward the bag at second. Now Hall will call time and step out. Looks down at his third base coach. Charlie Beverly is back down there after missing a couple of games. Returned, and Al Bell is returned to his normal spot at first base. Pitch to Hall is just high. It was an off-speed pitch. Taylor Clark came out in front and shrugged his shoulders as if to say, where was that? And he will walk around for just a moment. It's 2-1.
You were talking about gaps, Kevin. If just there's a wide open space out there, I believe Sam might even be able to score from first on that.
And you and I both know that a lot of his power is to right center when he is on. Here's the 2-1 outside, and it's 3 balls, 1 strike, and Brian Moon on deck. Popped out his last time, but he's a man who's due to deliver, hopefully to answer the call and put a run across here for the Rams. We're in the 4th, and that telephone rings incessantly. Tarantino to the stretch position, and his 3-1 swung on and popped up right behind us. May have swung at ball 4.
I believe he was really anxious. It looked like he was up. He jumped all over it, a little bit out in front of it, and fouled it back right over the top of our heads.
Full count here with 1 down. We're in the 4th inning. Bottom half of inning number 4. Rams trail it by a run. If they lose, this will be our last broadcast, as it will be their last game of the season. Pitch to Hall. High, ball 4. 3 men have been walked in this inning. One of them purposely, the other 2 join the Annie Oakleys the real way. And with the bases loaded now, Wheeler's head coach, Dave McDonald, goes out to talk. Kevin Turner is warming up in the Wildcat bullpen, and there will be a big conference on the mound here. Brian Moon will be the next hitter, and with the bases loaded, Bill, Brian Moon with a good shot to pick up the RBI.
That's true, and this broadcast is produced under broadcast rights and produced solely for the pleasure of our listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the description that counts of this game without the express written consent of Newton County Ram Baseball or WGFS Radio is strictly prohibited. The announcers are employed by WGFS Radio.
That's right, Bill. And Moon will step in here. The switch hitter bats from the left-hand side against the right-handed pitcher, Reed Tarantino. The runner at third base is Hires. At second is Sam Allen, and at first is Judd Hall. Here with 1 down, Wheeler will look for the double play up the middle, but they're in at the corners. Moon had 2 hits in the first game of the doubleheader. Stretch and the first pitch to him. He takes it low. A good stop from Clark as it was in the dirt, 1-0.
Kevin, I'd like to say hi to a couple of our newest fans out there at the Phillips 66 at Brown Bridge and Turn Lake Road there. Kareem and Sam out there. They've been kind enough to send us an IBC, and we'd just like to tell everyone stop by and see them. They're a couple of friendly fellas and the newest Newton County Ram fans.
Well, they're right down the street here, and folks, we're hoping to get you a couple of runs here. So just be patient. The 1-0 pitch is low, 2-0. After Moon is Richie Cleary, another man who's due for a hit. Richie Cleary did come up with a big single in the 7th inning in that second game. Rams had the bases loaded, no one out in the 7th in that game, but could not score, and they ended up losing by a run. Pitch to Moon, there's a strike. He was taking all the way. It's 2-1.
This is a pitch Brian can really look for something kind of near the center of the plate at 2-1. He doesn't want to go to 3-1. So Reed Tarantino's going to have to come in, and hopefully Brian can get something he can really drive and bring the runner home from third.
The runners lead from every base. The pitch to Moon, high, ball 3. One more wide one, and we are tied with the bases loaded and 1 down. 3-1 the count. If you're Brian Moon, what do? Do you take and hope for ball 4, or do you look for something to drive?
I'm looking for a zone. I'm looking for a specific pitch right on my part of the plate. If I can get it, I'm going to drive it. Otherwise, I'll take my chances on ball 4.
The stretch, the 3-1 pitch, hit him, and that's ball 4. Well, it'll be a hit batsman, not ball 4, but just the same, a run scores. We're tied at 2 apiece. Brian Moon takes one for the team. He'll walk it off down at first base, and he'll be all smiles as it's tied up at 2.
You almost wonder if that might have been kind of bad luck that it did hit him, because it was so far inside. Had it got back to the screen, might have been a chance another run could have scored.
Possibility if it had bounced around. If we had been playing at a place like Brookwood or Shiloh, certainly Brian Moon would have let that go by him, because 2 runs might score on a pass ball up there where it's about an acre and a half between home plate and the back screen.
Really not a tremendous amount of room in foul territory here, although that one did get over almost to the Ram dugout after hitting Brian.
Here he stands in there, the infield all the way in. There's a swing and a ground ball into left field for a hit. A run will score. Judd Hall is going to round third. The throw to the plate, not in time, and the Rams lead it 4-2. Richie Cleary with the big base hit.
He took that pitch, didn't wait, got an inside pitch to his liking, ripped it right down the line, just inside of Tigger Marshall in the third base bag, went into the corner. Judd Hall running all the way, good coaching, good aggressive base running. Coach Charlie Beverly sending him all the way, not even a play at the plate, and the Rams have taken the lead.
To be a Ram fan means to have a very strong heart and probably an increased risk of heart disease and heart attacks, as this Ram team could be called the Cardiac Kids, coming back in the state playoffs time after time after time. It looks hopeless, then they make the comeback. First and second, Matt Taylor the hitter, a pop out for him last time. First pitch swung on and fouled back, and it's 0-1. Moon at second base, Cleary at first after the big base hit, and Richie Cleary, who had been struggling some at the plate, comes up with the big knock past the drawn-in infield.
Yes, well, he hit the ball pretty hard his first time up at the plate, but was not able to reach. He hit it on one hop to the shortstop, really rocketed it, but this time he got it down the line, driving in 2.
The runners lead. The stretch, the pitch to Taylor in the dirt. It's by the catcher. It's a delayed try for third base. The throw down, not in time. Call it a pass ball on Taylor Clark, putting 2 more in scoring position. Now a base knock into the outfield. Makes it 6-2 Rams, but Taylor will have to come through here. They're only 1 out in the inning.
I thought for a minute the runners weren't going to advance on that play. Matt Taylor didn't really wave them enough that ball had gotten back. I was trying to wave frantically, trying to get them to move up, because now, as you say, they're in scoring position, and anything hit to the outfield is going to bring 1 home and maybe 2.
This helps the Rams here, as Wheeler will have to bring their infield in with second and third. The double play possibility is gone. Taylor swings, grounds 1 foul. Third base line fielded cleanly by third base coach Charlie Beverly, a former pro prospect himself. A ball and 2 strikes to Taylor.
And once again, it just doesn't get any more exciting than Newton County Ram baseball. Nothing's easy, is it, Kevin?
That's absolutely right. By the way, this will be the last game at Riverside Park for the 1994 Rams. No matter what happens, the Rams will be on the road the rest of this year if they can win this game. And, of course, if they lose, their season is over. So this is our swan song from Riverside Park. There's a swing and a hard ground ball to the third baseman. Fields it cleanly. Smith's throw to first is in time. He holds the runners. Taylor grounded it right at Smith, who was probably 5 feet away from Moon, who had to hold at third base.
Really not much he could do on that ball. He hit the ball hard, just as an atom ball. Right at him. Nothing he could do. Brian Moon tried to bluff a little bit, maybe make him think he was going. The third baseman, Tigger Marshall, took a little bit too much time and almost ended up throwing the ball away. First baseman had to stretch and almost come off the bag to field it.
Curtis will be the hitter, trying to help himself out. It'll take a 2-out base hit. He swings and grounds 1 foul right off the end of the stick. It's 0-1. Curtis popped out in foul territory to the third baseman last inning. Rams have put 3 across here on only 1 base hit, a 2-run single by Richie Cleary, who's standing now at second base.
Kel really hasn't had a real good cut against this Tarantino yet.
The pitch to him swung on and fouled back. If you'll notice, Curtis has stopped choking up. He doesn't need the increased bat speed on the slow off-speed pitches. In fact, having his bat be a little slower actually will help him against those pitches.
He just seems to not be getting anywhere near close to the ball. His timing appears to be off on it.
The wind and the 0-2 pitch outside, 1-2. Brian Moon, the runner at third base. Richie Cleary at second. We have 2 down in the inning, but the Rams have now taken the lead to shut down this Wheeler offense. Curtis digs back in. Clark's sign. Here's the wind and the 1-2 pitch outside, 2-2.
Kel could really help himself here if he could just get the ball out of the infield. With 2 outs, the runners will be going, and as deep as the outfielders are playing, I think it should be able to score Richie from down at second.
Here's the wind and the 2-2 pitch. Nowhere near. The curveball did come back in, but it was low and outside, and the count is full, 3-2. And one more wide one loads the bases, and the ninth man to bat in the inning would be Ryan Allen, here with 2 down. But Curtis would have to take ball 4 for that to happen. The wind, the payoff pitch, swung on and popped up, foul territory. It falls out of play, and it remains full, 3-2. The scoreboard full, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Can't put anything else up there with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 more Ram runs.
And that wouldn't hurt anybody's feeling down the third base side down there.
Not at all. The wind, the payoff pitch, high, ball 4. Now the base is loaded, and Ryan Allen will step to the plate. Allen is due. He seems to have every other game as his on game. He was 2 for 4 in the first game, hitless in the second game. He's been hitless so far here in the third game. And time is called. Dave McDonald goes out to the hill, and that's going to be a night for Reed Tarantino. Kevin Turner will come in to face the lefty, and while he does, we will take this break. Newton County Ram baseball right here on WGFS AM 1430.
And welcome back to Riverside Park, Newton County Ram baseball. The Rams have taken the lead and forced a pitching change from the Wheeler Wildcats. Here to tell you about it, Kevin Holden.
Well, Kevin Turner is the new pitcher, and he is a left-hander just like yours truly. But at the varsity level out there doing a good job for the Wheeler Wildcats, he'll be facing a left-handed batter, Ryan Allen. Kevin Turner throws an above-average fastball, but after what they've seen from Tarantino, this guy's going to look like Rob Dibble and just about every other fireballer combined all into one, as this lefty is going to come up there with some smoke, and he's probably been instructed to throw nothing but heat here the first time through. He'll face Ryan Allen with the bases loaded.
Of course, as they say, the harder they come in, the harder they'll go out. You don't need to get quite as much bat speed to drive the ball. If you can just make good contact and work it through a hole, you can bring a couple runs home here.
The final line on Tarantino, 3 2/3 innings. The last batter he faced was Curtis. He faced a total of 18 men. He's given up 4 runs so far. Everyone on base his responsibility. He only gave up 2 hits. He walked 4, all of them in this past inning. He struck out 1. And the pitch looked like it may have hit Ryan Allen. And it did, and it is 5-2. Turner's first fastball got away and plunked Ryan Allen and looked like it hit him on the right shoulder, scoring run number 5.
That looked like it hurt Ryan a little bit. He's shaking it off. He's pointing to his right shoulder to Coach Al Bell, but says that he is all right. That came in awful hard and awful fast on him. He really didn't even have a chance to get down. Fortunately, he wasn't injured on the play.
That's the difference between the off-speed and the fastball, but Turner is wild, and the Rams know that. Matt Hires now the hitter. Still bases loaded, still 2 down. Hires drew a walk earlier in this inning. He'll take the first pitch for a strike on the inside corner. And it's 0-1. Turner, a sophomore. This guy is going to be tough in the next couple of years. He's got this herky-jerky delivery, kicks his leg way out and way up towards second base, then comes sort of sidearm. The pitch is on the way, swung on and grounded towards shortstop Marshall, who makes the play. He'll throw to first, and in time there, a good scoop from Seals for the third out. But good news, Rams fans, as they pick up 4 runs. They only had 1 hit. There were a bunch of walks, and a couple of hit batsmen helped the cause as well. And they had 3 runners left on base. The 5th inning coming up, the Rams lead at 5-2. Newton County Ram baseball right here on WGFS AM 1430.
And welcome back to Riverside Park. As we left you a moment ago, we said the news was good. It is. The Rams have taken the lead. And here to bring you in the rest of the way, Mr. Kevin Holden.
Now this time, we've got to hold them, something we did not do in the second game of this 3-game series. And Cale Curtis will have that job entrusted to him as he enters his 5th full inning. He'll face the tough 3 men here, Chris Crawford, J.J. Thomas, John Morris, 3, 4, and 5. In the Wheeler Wildcat order, and 3 big hitters. 2 of them right-handed, the first 2. So if he can get through those 2, then he'll face a lefty in John Morris. Crawford, the first man up, 0 for 1. Struck out in the first and drew a free. Brian Boone flashes the sign. Curtis throwing from the stretch at all times, and his first pitch is hit deep to left field, but foul. It's a high pop fly, and it will fall out of play. 0-1 the count. That would not have had home run distance, but it was hit very hard and very high, but a foul ball.
Yes, it was, and it's good to see Cale get ahead in the count. Even though that ball was hit, he was way out in front of it, so he did fool him with it. As long as Cale stays ahead in the count, and can make these batters go after his pitch. He gets those pop-ups or can work them for the strikeout.
If he throws the first 2 pitches for balls, then the hitters can wait on the off-speed stuff. As he tries to throw strikes, the 0-1 missing outside, not by much, a ball and a strike. Action in the Wheeler bullpen. Looks like Brad Seals is warming up for the Wildcats, another left-hander. Crawford digs back in. Bat slightly open stance. The pitch to him is outside. 2-1. Rams scored in that last inning 4 runs. They had only 1 hit. But the walks did in the Wheeler Wildcats. 2 hit batsmen also in that inning. The stretch and the 2-1 pitch. Low, 3 balls, 1 strike.
And this is just what we talked about that we don't want to happen. You cannot be up there walking these batters, putting them on. It hurt Wheeler last, and Cale needs to really come back and come after this hitter right now.
Important to throw a strike on this one. You lose Crawford otherwise. The 3-1 pitch inside, ball 4. And the first man reaches, and as we know, many, many times he comes around to score.
I believe I heard the statistic the other day. It's anywhere from 51 to 55%, depending on who you talk to. If the leadoff batter reaches on a free pass, he's going to come around to score.
And at the high school level, sometimes it's more like 60 because the pitcher's not quite as sharp at getting the double play ball. And, of course, the middle infielders not quite as good at turning the double play. First pitch to Thomas is low, and it's 1-0. And after that strike now, Curtis has missed with 5 straight pitches.
And as a good manager does, here comes Coach Charlie Beverly out to talk to him, try to get his big lefty to settle down a little bit. He's gotten good mileage out of Cale. I'm sure he'd like to get him through at least this 5th inning, leaving only a couple innings. He's got several innings left in several of his pitchers, and Cale Curtis has done an amiable job getting this far, but Coach Beverly would like at least to get through this inning, I'm sure.
Well, what he saw last time out was the Rams really cruising with that 9-4 lead, and suddenly in the 6th inning they fell apart. He refuses to let that happen again, and I would not be surprised if we see some action in the bullpen coming up here if Curtis continues to throw wide ones. Thomas 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout. Curtis's stretch, his 1-0 pitch, taken low, 2 balls, no strikes.
So far, no action in the bullpen yet. You almost feel if he loses this batter, you'll see somebody throwing quickly.
Crawford leads away. Throw goes over to first base. A close one there, but he's back in. Curtis with that excellent pickoff move could help himself out by picking off a runner here in the later innings especially. It would help him tremendously. Rams on top by 3.
I did notice another thing Coach Beverly did was move Sam Allen back a little bit, trying to keep that ball from bouncing over his head like they had happened last inning.
Thomas is ready to go. Here's the pitch. Low and outside, and it's 3 balls, no strikes to the Wheeler left fielder. And Cale Curtis is going to ask for a new baseball, and who knows, maybe that's what the problem is, and now that he has a new one, perhaps he can throw some strikes in there. 3-0 the count.
Well, this is a batter you don't want to throw a crippled pitch to, so he's got to be careful even with a 3-0 count.
The stretch and the 3-0 pitch, called strike, inside corner. It's now 3-1. Dave McDonald is down the line at third base for the Wheeler Wildcats. Crawford leads away. The stretch, the 3-1 on the way. It's high and outside, and that's ball 4. And for the third straight inning make that, Cale Curtis has put the first 2 men on base. That's been the first 2 batters in the 3rd. A walk and a single for the first 2 men in the 4th, and 2 walks here in the 5th to the first 2 batters.
He has been able to be resilient and bounce back, keeping scoring and damage to a minimum. Let's hope he can do it one more time.
You've got to wonder against this offense, though. 3 runs seems like nothing. And the pitch is in the dirt. It's by Moon. It's back to the screen. Both runners will advance on the wild pitch. So now 2nd and 3rd, and no one out. And things falling apart here for Curtis. It's a ball, no strikes. And he's holding his left arm, shaking it just a little bit.
And Matt Taylor going down to the bullpen to start loosening up.
Taylor is a man who has some demons to get rid of against this team, as they hit him hard for 6 runs and 7 hits in only 2 1/3 innings his last time, and now Moon goes out there. This is likely to stall for time because Taylor has just gotten down there to start his warm-up tosses.
You almost wonder if Cale might have hurt himself a little bit there. That was really a bad pitch. That's one of the few that he's really uncorked bad. That was about a 55-footer out in front of the plate.
Digging back in now is John Morris, lefty versus lefty. Moon sets up outside. Curtis to the belt, and his 1-0 pitch low, 2-0. Now Curtis in trouble here. As he's walked the first two, he's thrown a wild pitch. He's putting himself in a jam. And nobody else contributed. It's just 2 walks and a wild pitch, so just the pitcher making this one. The 2-0 swung on and missed. Morris had a huge cut, but came up short, 2-1.
You kind of wonder about fundamentals when you see somebody after a pitcher has failed to throw a strike, bounce one back to the screen, 2-0, and he's up there hacking away.
This Wheeler team very aggressive with the bat. Sometimes it's bad. The 2-1, there's another swing and a miss. Curtis bouncing back now to make it 2-2 here to the designated hitter who is batting for Kevin Turner, the new pitcher, the second pitcher of the day for Wheeler. Crawford from third, Thomas from second. They take their leads. The stretch and the 2-2. Missing outside, 3 balls, 2 strikes the count.
If the Rams make a pitching change, you may see some kind of double change. Michael Dawson, Matt Easterly down also loosening in the bullpen too.
The stretch and the 3-2. Swung on, bounced foul. It's over by the Wheeler dugout, where it's fielded cleanly by Taylor Clark, the on-deck hitter, and the count remains full, 3-2. 2 men on, no one out. The Rams scored big to take the lead in the bottom of the 4th. Now they've got to try to hold this Wheeler offense, and that, folks, is a monumental task. The stretch. The 3-2 pitch swung on. He just got a piece of it and bounced it foul. Curtis near a strikeout there. It's 3-2.
He's made some excellent pitches here at 3-2. Those last 2, he was barely able to get a piece of it. John Morris was just barely nicking it foul.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Pitchers continue to throw in the bullpen. The stretch and the 3-2 pitch swung on and missed. Morris going down for the second time today, a huge out. Morris disgusted with himself, but Cale Curtis once again gets himself in a jam, and he's bailed himself out partially here by getting the strikeout.
Power versus power there. Cale just reared back and threw it pretty much almost right down the middle and said, hit it if you can, and he couldn't do it. Big strikeout.
Taylor Clark up there representing the tying run. Pitch to him is a called strike. 0-1. Curtis has found the plate. Notice his delivery is taking him toward the third base side, keeping him from throwing the ball outside. Perhaps that's a minor adjustment that he has made. He is to the belt. His wind and his pitch swung on and missed. 0-2. Came after him with a high pitch there, and Clark upset about swinging at a pitch out of the strike zone high.
It really was. It was up even above the letters, but he appeared to take a little something off that fooled Clark, and he went after it. Better rhythm going here. Now let's come after him and get the second out of the inning.
Clark in a deep hole here, the stretch. The 0-2 pitch, it's outside, wasting one. It's 1-2. We've seen him use that to set up the inside fastball. Will it happen again? We will see.
Good pitch on 0-2. You don't want to give away an 0-2 count. He needs to really come after him now, though. He doesn't want to go deep into the count any farther.
And Moon is setting up inside the stretch, and the 1-2 pitch swung on. He just got a piece of it, fouled it back. He swung at ball 2. It remains a ball and 2 strikes here against Taylor Clark, batting with 2 runners in scoring position and 1 down in the 5th inning.
Cale still has some good movement on that fastball. I think that's what caused Taylor Clark to go after that pitch. Had that movement away from him and a little bit of upshoot on it.
As we mentioned, this is the final game at Riverside Park. Rams seniors would like nothing more than to go out with a big victory to move them into the semifinal round. The stretch and the 1-2 pitch swung on and hit hard to center field. Acox comes on and falls in front for a hit. 1 run will score. The runner being held up at third is J.J. Thomas. It is 5-3 on the solid single to center field. That's Taylor Clark's first hit of this series.
Cale just kind of made that one too good. He came right down the middle with it and really didn't have that good zip on it. And Taylor Clark able to serve it into center field. Didn't really hit it hard, and it didn't hang up in the air long enough for Chris Acox to come in and make the play. But fortunately, only brought one of the runs home.
And now we'll have a pinch runner at first base. Al Warden will come in here for Clark. Warden, the pinch runner, here in the 5th. He'll be at first base. And the hitter will be Brian Seals, a single his last time up. Before that, a fly out to the left fielder.
And everybody coming in from out of the bullpen, so you have to think everybody's loose and ready to go when Coach Beverly decides to make a change.
And he may make a change here with a sort of quick hook considering the 2-run lead, and this is the rubber match. If the Rams fall behind here and end up losing the game, there is no tomorrow, so he may have a bit of a quick hook. Seals digging in, but first he'll check his third base coach for the sign. Now he's ready to go. Kicks a little dirt up in the batter's box. Lefty versus lefty. The 0-1 pitch is low and outside. Looked like an off-speed pitch, a ball and a strike. Runners at the corners here for Wheeler. 1 down. Rams lead it by 2, but that lead in danger here against the big offense of the Wheeler Wildcats. Signed by Moon, the stretch by Curtis, and now the pitch by Curtis, and it is just a little bit inside, 2-1.
I'll say one thing. Cale has not gotten a whole lot of calls from the umpire. He really has not been much of a pitcher's umpire because he has been right around the plate with most of his pitches.
Curtis has walked only 4 hitters, and a more liberal umpire would probably lower that total by about half. Runner headed for second, and they got him picked off. The throw to second base, and they got him. That is a huge play. The runner at first was headed for second. Curtis had it figured out from moment number 1. He went to first base, 1-3-6 on the caught stealing.
And he did it absolutely perfectly. The runner had already started to break. Cale didn't panic, went ahead and threw over to the first baseman. Richie Cleary with the good throw down to Matthew Hires, who swung around with the tag. Big, huge out.
Really, words cannot describe how big the second out is now. And now with the runner at third base, the infield can just play normally. It will take a base hit to score him. Any kind of out gets Cale and the Rams out of the inning. And the 2-1 pitch is swung on and popped up into left field where Judd Hall is under it and makes the catch. And that is out number 3.
And that would have scored the run had that runner not gotten picked off. So a big play with the pickoff play there.
5-3 Rams as we go to the bottom half of inning number 5. Newton County Ram baseball here on WGFS AM 1430.
Campbell.
We are back from Riverside Park. Lance Shannon, the first man up, swings at the first pitch, grounds it to second base where Ash Gale comes across and throws to first in time. For out number 1, it's Shannon, Sam Allen, and Judd Hall. Enjoy that slim 2-run lead versus this offense. Might as well call that a half-a-run lead.
That's true now, and hopefully they'll make a mistake to him like they did earlier. Sam hasn't had much of a chance to hit lately. They keep giving him the free ride.
Don't think that will happen this time with the bases empty and 1 down, so Allen should be in there against a left-hander with a good chance to hit the ball here. He's grounded out and been intentionally walked. He has been absolutely on fire during this series. He takes the first one low, 1 ball, no strikes. As we mentioned, Sam Allen, a very aggressive hitter. At home plate, he's going to take some of the biggest cuts you see a hitter take for any squad at all. But he's also good at drawing the base on balls, as Allen has drawn 12 of them, now 13. Stretch and the pitch to him, swung on and popped up, but it's in foul territory and out of play. Down the right side, 1-1.
In fact, coming into this game, because of the bases on balls, Sam had taken over the team lead on on-base percentage, just 1 small point ahead of Lance Shannon.
Right now, Shannon has reached base once in 3 trips. Allen once in 2 trips. There's a swing and a high pop fly to right field. Going to be a long run for Souders. Fair ball. Allen will round first. It gets loose in the corner. He will slide head first into second base. There, now Sam's got the uniform dirty. He's going to be happy now, and you're going to see the skid marks out there. We can judge his speed. He's at second with a double.
And that might be a new record. Those look like some of the longest ones I've seen in a while. He really had the momentum going, took the good dive. Just a good piece of hitting there. He fought it off and got it to drop inside the right field foul line. Wasn't fair by about a foot, and good hustle on the play getting down to second. As you say, got the uniform dirty. Now Sam Allen knows he played baseball.
That's right. Now he can go home and tell his parents that he had a good game because the uniform is dirty. And he certainly has had a good one. He's at second base. With 1 down, Judd Hall the hitter. 0 for 1. He has also walked. Turner with the stretch, and the first pitch is outside, ball 1. 5-3 Rams in the bottom half of the 5th inning. The winner of this game moves on to the semifinals to take on the winner of Evans and Windsor Forest. The other 2 teams in the Final Four have been determined. South Gwinnett swept Osborne and move on to the Final Four where they will play Fayette County. Turner to the belt. 0-1 on the way to Hall as he takes it high, 2-0, and Judd Hall laying off those outside and high pitches, not like he was in the first 2 appearances up there.
Doing better, trying to make him come in with the strike here. We know Kevin Turner does have bouts of wildness. This would be a good place for him to put a couple on.
The 2-0 pitch on the way. It is hit hard but foul down the right side. 2 balls, 1 strike to the Ram left fielder. And on his throws in, on base hits to left field, he's side-arming the ball in there, which makes you wonder that his arm may not be at full strength. Of course, we haven't seen him in left field, so perhaps he's doing that just as a left fielder, just saving his arm. Allen takes his lead, the 2-1, high and outside, 3-1. Turner's got such a weird delivery involving so many different body parts as he throws that leg up and throws that arm out and throws the leg out at the hitter. You've got to wonder how he keeps the ball near the plate every time.
Well, that's why I believe he does have those bouts with wildness.
And the 3-1 is outside, ball 4. Hall on first base now. That is the first walk by Kevin Turner. He's faced 5 batters. He's hit a man, he's walked a man, he's given up a double and a couple of ground outs. And now Brian Moon will bat from the right side here against the lefty with runners at first and second, 1 down. They tell you as a pitching coach talking to a pitcher that the fewer factors you have out there that will affect your delivery, the better. You can concentrate on mechanics and throwing the ball for strikes. And those pitchers with those high leg kicks and very complicated deliveries a lot of times have trouble keeping the ball near the plate because of all the different factors they have to get right. They have to have legs and arms in perfect position for the delivery.
That third baseman stays back a little bit. Don't be surprised to see Brian Moon drop a bunt down that third base line. The Rams have a play they like to use in this circumstance, and he is back a little bit. Brian, a very good bunter.
And he possibly could do so, and he's bunting with the first pitch right up the first base line. It's fielded by Turner. His throw to first is in time, but the runners advance. Now that's a good play there. Instead of bunting it up the third base line, he bunted it up the first base line, assuring the sacrifice and putting 2 in scoring position. But he might have been going for a hit because now there are 2 down in the inning.
It was an excellent bunt, and it took a perfect play by Kevin Turner on the play to throw him out. And he didn't try to get out of the way. He stayed right on the baseline, making sure Kevin Turner did not have a wide target to throw at. Still a good bunt. We'll give him the sacrifice on the play.
Moon bunted the ball up the first baseline because Turner's delivery takes him toward third as Cleary swings and misses at the first pitch, 0-1. But hoping that Turner falling off toward third after firing the ball might have trouble getting to it, Moon pushed it up the first baseline, but Turner was there to make the play. It's 0-1 to Cleary, who singled his last time, a big base hit for him as he takes a pitch for a strike at the knees and did not believe the call, and it's 0-2.
Richie doesn't look quite as comfortable against Kevin Turner as he did against Reed Tarantino. He's going to have to dig in and shorten up his stroke and really try and just make good contact with the fastball.
The 0-2 pitch to him. He got a piece of it and fouled it back. It remains no balls, 2 strikes. Sam Allen at third, Hall at second. Cleary came up in a similar situation last inning and delivered a 2 RBI single and put the Rams on top. 5-3 your score. Rams would love to put another 1 or 2 or more up on that board. The 0-2 to Cleary. Swung on and missed. Turner comes in and strikes out Cleary and strands 2 runners in scoring position. No runs. 1 hit. 2 men left on. Top of the 6th coming up. Your score 5-3. Newton County on top. Newton County Ram baseball right here on WGFS AM 1430.
And welcome back to Riverside Park. Newton County Ram baseball in the state playoffs. Close chance there. The Rams almost with a couple more runs. Now it's time to hold them. And here to hold them, Kevin Holden.
Bill Dolan, thank you very much. And we've had fun having you here and so far on top and looking to close it out.
Let's hope we can do it. Just a couple more innings to go, and we move on to the semifinals of the state tournament.
But you've got to hold them, and a 2-run lead seems ever so slim. Ash Gale will be the first hitter. He's 1 for 2, a single and a pop-out in 2 trips to the plate. Curtis has gone the whole way. It's been the gutsiest performance by a starter for the Rams all year. He's been in jams every inning. He's gotten out. He has pitched with some serious class with runners on base. The stretch and the first pitch swung on in line on 1 hop, but Allen makes a great play in the hole, and his throw to first is in time. Ryan Allen, a good defensive second baseman. The Rams up the middle as good as any team in the state, really, and Allen made a great play there.
We'll take that Adam ball because Ryan with a great play on it over to first. 1 pitch, 1 out. Cale came after him, not dancing around, throwing balls, walking people. He's got the good defense behind him, and he's going to go ahead and utilize it, so let's go ahead and come after this hitter.
Now, Frank Smith will be the hitter, 0 for 1. He's been hit by a pitch, and he scored a run. And Curtis's first pitch to him is a called strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Evans is playing Windsor Forest as we speak. The winner of that game plays the winner of this game. In a 3-game series in the semifinals in the state tournament. And the 0-1 pitch, missing high, but not by much, 1-1. And Curtis has seemed to found very good control here in the 6th.
Has a pretty good groove. He got into it in the last inning and has continued at this inning.
And the 1-1 on the way is hit hard to left center field. Hall going over and makes a good running catch. And that is the second out. That ball was also hit hard, but Judd Hall made a good play ranging into left center. That was almost scary.
It hung up just long enough for Judd to get over there and make the play. And that's 2 batters, 2 outs. Cale Curtis, once again, as you said, with just a gutsy, great performance. He's given Coach Charlie Beverly all he could ask for and then some.
Tigger Marshall now the hitter. 1 for 3. The first pitch to him. Cale Curtis has been out there 5 2/3 gut-wrenching innings. And the Rams lead it by 2, and Curtis looking to slam the doors. The 0-1 is on the way. It is outside with the fastball, a ball and a strike.
But once again, not very far. He's right around that plate. He's doing a good job. He's in a good rhythm. Let's come after Tigger Marshall and try and get a couple more runs in the bottom of the 6th.
Wheeler with 3 runs on 6 hits. The pitch is outside, 2-1. Curtis, the big left-hander for the Rams, in 20 innings has an ERA of 1.40. He's given up 3 earned runs in this game, but he'll tell you he doesn't mind raising the ERA as long as he can pick up the W, which would be his 3rd against no losses if he can close the door. The 2-1, high, 3-1.
This is by far the biggest start in his career to this point. He's done an outstanding job, kept the Rams in the game. They got the lead. Having a little trouble right now, but needs to just bear down and throw strikes and let that good, solid defense behind him come up with the plays.
3 balls, 1 strike to Marshall. The shortstop is a switch hitter batting from the right-hand side. The stretch and the 3-1 on the way. There's a strike on the outside corner. It's 3-2. This Rams senior, along with the other 5, were all 8th graders when the Rams won their last region title in 90. Now they have one to call their own in 94. Curtis to the stretch position. A big one here, the 3-2. Swung on and hit hard to center field. It falls in for a base hit. And Marshall starts it off here with a single, with 2 down, though, in the 6th.
That's the key. The 1-out single, or the 2-out single won't hurt you. He just needs to bear down. Go ahead and come after Souders here and get out of the inning. Not a bad pitch there, just a good bit of hitting by Marshall.
Beats the out here against Souders, who is 1 for 3. 2 flyouts and a single. Next round of the state tournament will be later this week from Tuesday through Friday. 3 games will have to be played in that stretch, and Souders takes the first one for a strike, outside corner, 0-1.
Cale still seems to have plenty of zip on that heater when he brings it.
Marshall leads away. He's got some serious speed at first base, and the pitch home is just low, a good pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marshall might be going, but then again, down 2. Coach McDonald might not want to take the risk. The 1-1 on the way, swung on and grounded to Hires at short. He makes the play and steps on the bag at second, close out there. But Marshall is retired, and that is out number 3.
Yes, indeed, a good play by Matthew Hires. He decided to go ahead and take it himself instead of tossing to Ryan Allen. Just did beat him. It was close. And once again, Cale Curtis, gutsy job in the 6th inning.
5-3 Rams. Coming up on the bottom of the 6th inning, you're listening to Newton County Ram Baseball, trying to win the 3rd of a 3-game series in the 2nd round of the state playoffs on WGFS AM 4.
Welcome back to Riverside Park. You can't get too much more exciting than this. Bottom of the 6th inning, Newton County on top by a slim deuce. And here to try and get some more, Kevin Holden.
Matt Taylor, Cale Curtis, Ryan Allen will be the next 3 for the Rams. Kevin Turner out there for his 2nd full inning of work. He hasn't given up a run since coming in. He did hit a man with the bases loaded, but that run was charged to Tarantino. And by the way, you can close the book on him as he allowed 5 runs on 2 hits in 3 2/3 innings. Taylor swings at the first offering and fouls it back 0-1. In those 3 2/3, he walked 4 men, all of them in the same inning, and that's what hurt him. As Reed Tarantino suddenly got wild and the off-speed pitcher had trouble at second time through the order. He did strike out 1 hitter, which really is a surprise, as he struck out Judd Hall. Turner's stretch and his pitch to Taylor is high, 1-1.
Matt got a real good cut on that first fastball. Seemed to have it measured it, but fouled it back to the screen. Hopefully if he just digs in and waits for it, he can get something. He can drive and get something started here for the Rams.
The atmosphere here at Riverside Park is spectacular. The 1-1 swung on and missed, and it's 1-2. Dozens and dozens, maybe even 100 folks here from Wheeler High School. And the Newton County folks up the third baseline. It's absolutely packed up there. I went up between innings, and it is jam-packed down the third base side up on that hill. The 1-2 on the way. Swung on and missed. Taylor goes down. Second straight strikeout for Turner.
Good pitch, good low fastball, and Matt just couldn't come around on it. Speaking of the crowd, they're whooping it up out there, trying to get some more runs for the Rams here. They've been behind this Ram team all year, and we're glad to have them with us here. And they need to take a little credit for the success of this team by the support they've shown for the Rams this year.
And the folks who could not be at the ballpark today, thanks for listening in here on WGFS. And so far, it's been a good one. Cale Curtis takes the first one for a strike. He's choking up here against the fast lefty, and it's 0-1.
Trying to shorten down that swing, speed up his bat speed a little bit so he can make contact.
Taylor Clark flashes the sign, the stretch, and Turner's delivery. Called strike, outside corner. No balls, 2 strikes here to the Ram pitcher. After him, they'll go back to the top of the order, Ryan Allen, who is hitless. He has been hit by a pitch. Curtis ready to go. Turner to the belt, and the 0-2 pitch, high, 1-2.
I'd really like to see Cale get something going here, but he does struggle against left-handed pitching, as we know. But he's digging in there and could really help himself by getting on base.
1 ball, 2 strikes here, and the pitch on the way. Swung on and popped foul right over our heads. It remains 1-2.
That's about the best cut we've seen Cale have today. He was really off stride against the junker, but appears to be back in his groove against the hard-throwing left-hander.
And Turner's 1-2 is on the way outside. A fastball makes it 2-2. Cale Curtis came into this game at .377. 23 hits and 61 trips to the plate, a home run, 10 RBI. Now he does not choke up, and the pitch is swung on and missed, and he had slow bat speed on the 2-2 offering. He goes down.
And that one was up in about his eyes, and with a little slower bat speed, as you said, he really had no chance to get around on it.
Now another left-handed batter in Ryan Allen. Allen is 0 for 2. A ground out to the first baseman and a fly out to the left fielder. And as we mentioned, he was hit by a pitch, and look how open his stance is as his front foot is over toward first base, and the pitch to him hit it opposite field, foul to the screen. 0-1.
Had a good rip at it and just did foul it back to the screen. He had a pretty good rip earlier, fouling one down the left field line that was caught just about a step or two into foul territory, but he did make good contact with it.
And the pitch is swung on and line foul down the left field line. And it's 0-2, and Allen can't seem to get around here on the fastball from Kevin Turner. That might be a reason why he's opened up his stance to try to get around on that fastball. It's a tough pitch to hit, especially to a lefty who likes to stand close to the plate. Allen's set to go. So is Turner, and the 0-2 is swung on and fouled back to the screen. 0-2.
He's hanging tough, though, and he's getting some good licks in there up at him. Looks like he's probably set up for a little off-speed something since he's going after that fastball so well, though.
Due up for Wheeler in the 7th, a 3, 4, and 5 spots in the order. Let's not think about that right now. The stretch and the 0-2 pitch is high, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Did come in with a little bit of the off-speed pitch, but didn't hit the strike zone. Ryan Allen, with a good piece of hitting, managed to lay off it and take it for a ball.
As we mentioned, this is the last time the Rams will take the field at Riverside Park in '94. We'll be saying goodbye to a nice old park. The 1-2 pitch swung on and popped foul, out of play. It remains 1-2. Of course, they will be back in '95 with many, many home games here at Riverside Park. But they had senior day here several weeks back because they anticipated it being the final game at Riverside Park. But by winning the region title, they're back here for 6 more. The stretch and the 1-2 pitch outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And to the 6 Rams seniors, this has got to be some special moments, and they just want to get the last 3 outs next inning.
That's true. It sure would mean a lot to them to move on to the state semifinals, as it would to everybody on this Ram ball club.
The 2-2 pitch on the way. It's swung on and grounded on several hops. Ash Gale misplays the ball, and Allen is safe at first base. It is an E4, and Gale looked like he tried to throw it before he had it.
Well, that's what speed will do to you. Ryan Allen, as from scouting, has a lot of good foot speed, was hustling all the way. Ash Gale tried to pick it up and throw it before he had it. He just booted it, E4 on the play.
Allen safe at first. Matt Hires will be the hitter, 0 for 2 with a walk. He's hit the ball hard both times up. He'll bat lefty against the left-handed pitcher. You could pretty much call him a left-handed batter now. He's given up batting from the right side for the most part. Strictly a left-handed hitter now, and the pitch to him is a strike, and it's 0-1.
Seems last couple games, every time he's faced the southpaw, he has batted from the left side, so perhaps he has given up on switch hitting.
We don't have any statistics on his average from the right side, but that shoulder injury may also be another reason. Ryan Allen taking off for second base, pitches outside, the throw down is into center field. Allen will have to hold as he had to dive head first into the second base bag. It's a stolen base for him, and for Ryan Allen, that is swipe number 17 on the year.
He had a great jump, stole that completely on the pitcher, and then it was really a horrible throw by Taylor Clark, landing about 10 feet out in front of the base and rolling into center field. Ryan appeared to shake himself up a little bit as he made the head first and was not able to get up and advance to third.
He is a little shaken up, but that tough little second sacker is going to shake the injury off and take his lead from second base, and now Hires is going to call time as he might spot what's going on. Now Charlie Beverly is going out to talk to Ryan Allen, who had a pretty hard slide into that second base bag and is still working with his uniform. Now he's showing his leg, his right leg, to Charlie Beverly.
Appears to be right knee. I wonder if he might have landed on a rock or some kind of thing such as that out there as he came in with that head first slide. It's a lot faster to come in head first, but you do run the risk of an injury if you land on something.
Well, Allen's out at second base, and as tough as he is, you know that it's going to take an awful lot to get him out.
That's true. None of these Rams want to come out of this ball game right now.
1 ball, 1 strike to Hires. The stretch. And the 1-1 on the way. It swung on and missed. He challenged him with high heat, and Hires couldn't catch up. 1-2.
As Kevin Turner brings the high heat, he's got a good, hard fastball. That was up in the eyes, and Matthew Hires unable to get around on it.
Ryan Allen leads away. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down in the 6th. The Rams lead by a pair. The pitch is low. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the senior shortstop.
You sure would like to, any way you could, get around to Lance Shannon and Sam Allen, the hot hitters on the team, with a chance to bring in a few more runs before heading to that 7th inning.
Hires has a good enough eye to take the walk, or he might get the base hit, but he takes strike 3 here. It was at the knees. Hires unhappy with himself, but Turner strikes out the side in the 6th. Last chance for the Wheeler Wildcats. The Rams hoping to move to the state semifinals. They've got to get another inning's worth of outs to do it. Newton County Ram baseball here on WGFS AM 1430.
And welcome back to Riverside Park. The suspense is mounting. State playoff action. It doesn't get any more exciting than this. We move to the top of the 7th with the Rams on top 5-3, and here to bring you in the rest of the way and hopefully into the state semifinals, Kevin Holden.
Okay, Bill Dolan, thank you very much. Your scores from around the state tournament: Fayette sweeping Warner Robins 5-2 and 5-3. They have moved to the semifinals versus South Gwinnett. South Gwinnett defeated Osborne 3-2 and 3-1, a sweep there as well. Those two already going to go head-to-head in the other semifinal matchup. Evans plays Windsor Forest today. Evans beat Windsor Forest 9-0 in the first game of a doubleheader, but Windsor came back with a 5-1 victory, and they play the rubber game today, just like this rubber game here. Cale Curtis out there against Chris Crawford, J.J. Thomas, and John Morris, the most dangerous part of the order. The first pitch is a called strike on the outside corner, and it's 0-1.
And he came with the heat. Good moving fastball there. Still appears to have a lot of velocity left on it.
Crawford with a strikeout and 2 walks in his 3 times coming up. Strike at the knees, 0-2. Cale Curtis is around the plate, and you love to see it here in the 7th. There is action in the Newton County bullpen just in case. Moon setting up inside here in the 0-2. Swung on and may have just gotten a piece of it, and he did. He got the ever so slightest piece of the ball, fouling it off, and it remains 0-2.
What a great pitch on an 0-2 pitch. Threw him that breaking ball down. He barely got a piece of it and fouled it back to the screen. Cale coming right after him. still throwing strikes and hopefully get through this inning.
Moon is ready, so is Curtis in the 0-2. Is by Moon and back to the screen. No one on base, so it doesn't really matter. And Cale maybe got that one out of the way here with no one on. It's a ball and 2 strikes to the Wheeler center fielder. Crawford digs back in. Curtis to the belt. Is J.J. Thomas, and that man smacked a deep home run in his first at-bat in this series. Curtis has got a serious task ahead of him. His stretch and first pitch to Thomas, swung on and hit hard to right center. Going back is Shannon. At the wall, it is gone, and we are tied at 5 apiece. J.J. Thomas has just drilled one to deep right center field to tie this one up at 5 apiece, and Curtis talking with Moon on the mound. Once again, the Rams have blown a lead. We're tied at 5 apiece.
He just came in with too good of a pitch, outside corner at waist high. Thomas drove it deep, probably about 365, 370 feet to right center field.
And he's a right-handed batter, so he's got tremendous power to the opposite field. We're tied at 5, and still nobody out here in inning number 7. Cale Curtis needs to come out now and treat it like a brand-new inning, and it's a brand-new ball game.
Matt Taylor has just walked in from the bullpen. He's ready to go if Coach Beverly decides to go ahead and bring him in.
This is a left-handed batter, and if Curtis doesn't get this guy, this could be the end of the day for him. He's 0 for 3, swings at the first offering, grounds it foul down the first base line, make that. It's 0-1. Morris has struck out twice and flied out to the left fielder. A 2-run homer by J.J. Thomas assures at the very worst that the Rams will have to come up in the bottom half of the 7th inning. That's at the very best, actually, after the 2-run homer. The stretch, and the 0-1 is high, a ball and a strike.
Just a tough break for Cale Curtis. He's pitched his heart out there, and he made one really bad mistake there.
A 1-1 pitch is inside and almost hit him. It's 2-1. Morris, Taylor Clark, and Brian Seals the next 3. Sam Allen goes in for a word of encouragement, talking to his pitcher. Curtis has gone 6 innings. He's given up 5 runs on 8 hits. Make that 9 hits. Curtis has had a little trouble with control. He's walked 4. He has struck out 6 men, but none since the 5th inning. He comes to the belt, and the 2-1 on the way. Here it is. Called strike outside corner. It's 2-2.
Good pitch by Cale coming back, even in the count at 2-2. He really needs to bear down and get this left-handed hitter. This is a key batter for Cale.
Morris is ready to go. Here's the stretch, and the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, grounded foul right over by the Wheeler dugout on the first baseline. It remains 2-2. Every single player for the Wheeler Wildcats is standing up and right on the edge of that dugout, giving encouragement. I don't think anybody could sit down in a game like this. 5-5 in the 7th. You knew that 2-run lead was not enough. Curtis to the belt, and his 2-2 pitch. Just missing low, 3-2 now, a full count here against the DH for the Wheeler Wildcats.
And Cale sure has not gotten any help from the umpire on any of these close calls tonight.
Moon flashes the sign to his pitcher. This again comes set, one of his biggest pitches of the game on the way. Swung on and missed. There's out number 1. And that will keep Curtis in the game more than likely here. He'll be facing Taylor Clark and Brian Seals the next 2. Curtis has done very well, holding the Wheeler offense to only 5 runs. They scored 18 against all of the Ram aces in the first 2 games.
That's correct. He's just pitched a fine ball game. It's been a real gutsy performance. He's pitched out of trouble. Just made one, as I said, one big mistake and gave up the long ball.
First pitch to Taylor Clark, missing low and outside. A ball on and no strikes. 1 for 2 is Taylor Clark, a single, a strikeout, and a walk. He's also scored a run. He is a right-handed batter digging in against the lefty Cale Curtis, and whose 1-0 offering is way high and outside, 2-0. Well, Taylor is ready if necessary, but you wonder what he's got in his arm. He has thrown quite a bit, and the last time he came in against Wheeler, they lit him up.
I'd really like to see Cale be able to finish this inning and let the Rams come up to hit. They've got the meat of their order coming up also in the 7th inning.
Moon with the sign. Curtis with the stretch and his 2-0. Low, 3-0. He's been low with several pitches here, but having trouble finding the strike zone. He's got a cripple count here to the catcher. Taylor Clark, who just got his first hit of this 3-game series, his last time. The stretch, the 3-0 pitch, ball 4 low. That might do it for Cale Curtis. Clark reaching first base. Nothing yet from the Newton County dugout. Brian Moon and Sam Allen have both gone out to talk. One of the reasons being a left-handed hitter is up in Brian Seals. And Coach Beverly may elect to hold Cale and leave him in this game here to face Seals, the left-handed batter.
Even though he walked that batter on 4 pitches, really only one of them was pretty wild. He threw the one high up and wide in the strike zone. The others were real close and just a little low, and once again, no real help from the umpire.
Seals has singled once and flied out twice. Stretch in the first pitch is low, a ball, no strikes. He had Clark moving back to the first base bag. With his delivery, they still haven't figured him out.
He really does have that good move, as he exhibited earlier when he picked the runner off base.
Curtis to the belt. And the 1-0 swung on a line right at Ryan Allen for out 2. The throw to first, double play. There's a big one. Ryan Allen caught the line drive, and Clark was caught in no man's land.
Big play there. Once again, you got to think that move of Cale Curtis had a lot to do with that. The runner going back to the base and then trying to break away to get a jump on it. Ball hit right at Ryan Allen. Easy double play. They gave up 2 to tie, but we're back in the game. Let's get one run in the bottom of the 7th inning and go on to the semifinals.
My Kingdom for one precious little run. 5-5 your score. Bottom of the 7th coming up. Newton County Ram baseball on WGFS AM 1430.
And it comes down to this. At Riverside Park, Newton County Ram baseball, score tied 5-5, bottom of the 7th. Last chance for the Rams to try and see if they can get one home, or we go to extra innings. And here to try and get that run, my partner, Kevin Holden.
Thank you, my partner, Bill Dolan. If the Rams score 1 run, they have eliminated Wheeler High School. Lance Shannon takes the first pitch low and outside for ball 1. They're facing a wild left-hander in Kevin Turner. They'll have to take some pitches. Look for some stuff to drive. Who knows? If Taylor walks a couple of people, Turner rather walks a couple of people, may come back to haunt him. The 1-0 pitch. Did he check his swing on the pitch? They say he did check his swing. It's 2 balls, no strikes.
Good job there by Lance Shannon, ducking out of the way. Almost brought the bat around, but was able to hold it back. He's ahead in the count, 2-0. He's got to make him throw a strike here, though.
Here are the big 3 in the order. Shannon, Allen, and Hall, the 3 guys you'd want up there if you wanted a single run. The 2-0 pitch on the way. It's high, 3-0. Lance Shannon with a good eye is not afraid to take the walk, and with the way that Sam Allen has been hitting the ball, they just love that.
Do you think we could have Judd Hall be the answer to another trivia question come Saturday morning?
He's the 3rd man of the inning. He was the 3rd man up in that inning against Southwest DeKalb that will go down in infamy. The 3-0 inside, ball 4. There's your base runner. Now what can you do with him? Lance Shannon represents the only run that matters in the city of Covington, Georgia right now. He nobody out. It is 5-5 in the 7th inning, bottom half. If the Rams push one across, the game, the series is over. And Ram fans, the Cardiac Kids, doing it to us again.
And Mr. Clutch steps to the plate.
Can he do it one more time? Play it again, Sam, as the pitch comes in low and outside, 1-0.
And Kevin Turner has failed to throw a strike this inning. That's 5 wide ones so far.
And no action in the bullpen. So for right now, Dave McDonald is sticking with Turner. Shannon leads away from first base. The stretch and the pitch to Allen. Swung on and popped up, but in foul territory and out of play, and it's 1-1.
Had a pretty good pitch, pretty good cut at a pitch. It was a little low and away. Might have should have taken it and could have possibly been ball 2.
A ball and a strike here, no one out. With the runner at first base, Turner having to go through the middle part of the order. Out of the 3 times that the middle part has batted, only once have they not scored. The first time through they scored 1 run. The second time they scored 4. The pitch to Sam Allen is low, 2-1.
Lance Shannon not able to get a very big lead over there. I don't know if he's just playing it real safe or just hasn't figured out this lefty with all his herky-jerky motion right now.
Sam Allen came into this game hitting .402. He's raised it a little bit, love to raise it some more. The pitch to him, line to left center. It is in for a base hit. Rounding second is Shannon. He will go to third, and they'll hold him there. Sam Allen is in at second with a stand-up double, and they held Lance Shannon at third base. A wise maneuver.
Absolutely. You really don't want him thrown out at the plate. The fans are wondering why they didn't send him. But you've got second and third, nobody out, and who's coming up to the plate but Judd Hall, a man who makes good contact with the ball, the ability to drive the ball. The throw got away. It makes you wonder, had he been coming, he certainly would have scored. But I got to agree with the call there. You're set up now. We can still win the game easily. Everything's in the Rams' favor.
What about this sounds familiar? Bottom half of the seventh inning, nobody out, a runner at third base, also a runner at second base, and Wheeler is going to play the infield in and probably bring the outfield in. And who is up but the man that caused the Ram fans to dance in the streets the first time around, Judd Hall. 90 feet away from eliminating these guys after a hard-fought three-game series. The first pitch is low and outside, 1-0.
I'd be real surprised to see Kevin Turner really throw something in close to Judd that he can drive with first open. Although he has been wild, that's probably why you don't want to walk Judd Hall intentionally to get to Brian Moon.
The stretch from the lefty, and his 1-0 pitch swung on and grounded to the shortstop. It's by him. It is into left field. Ram fans go crazy. They've done it again. 6-5. Newton County has won the ball game. The ball trickled away from the shortstop, Tigger Marshall, and the Rams 6-5 winners, and they have a mob down the first base line. Lance Shannon has been mobbed by his teammates, and he is pumped up. So are these Ram fans. In the last inning, they come back. An error by the shortstop makes it 6-5, and Bill Dolan, send your heart attack bills to Riverside Park, Newton County High School.
Unbelievable, Kevin Holden. Judd Hall hit the ball hard. The shortstop, being in so close, was not able to field it cleanly. But once again, the thing that set that up, Mr. Clutch, Mr. Get My Uniform Dirty, Sam Allen with a big double into the left center field gap. But when it comes right down to it, the man of the hour, a complete game job with the win, the biggest win of his life, Mr. Cale Curtis.
And Cale Curtis has got to be given the MVP here, of course, in addition to Allen and Hall, who had those excellent jobs in the seventh inning. But Curtis had that gutsy job with a tired pitching staff, came in and did the job. We're going to be back to wrap up the oh-so-happy news as the Rams make the round of four. Newton County Ram baseball here on WG30.
And we're back at Riverside Park. Kevin Holden and Bill Dolan here. We've both caught our breaths. What more can you say than the Cardiac Kids have done it again? Here with the wrap-up, Kevin Holden.
Thank you very much, Bill Dolan. And this team has aged me 10 years in the last 6 games, I think, but they've come out with 2 big series victories, and this one 6-5, ever so exciting and dramatic Ram style, as they've done it all year this way, over the Wheeler Wildcats, who have been eliminated from play here in the state tournament. For the Rams, 6 runs, 4 hits, no errors. They leave 6 men on base. Your winning pitcher, Cale Curtis, the hero of the day and perhaps of this series, as he goes a full 7 innings. He faces 34 hitters. He gave up 5 runs. He walked several hitters, but Cale Curtis made the right pitches when it mattered most. That was the main difference, and we'll talk about that, Bill, in just a moment. For Wheeler, 5 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors. They left 8 on. The losing pitcher is Kevin Turner. In the bottom half of the 7th, Lance Shannon drew the base on balls. Sam Allen with yet another double, and Judd Hall reaching on an error by the shortstop in the drawn-in infield. Lance Shannon scored, and the Rams picked up the win 6-5. Let's talk first about Cale Curtis, who has got to be the man of the hour. He had been in trouble in several of the innings, but when it mattered, he came through with the right pitches.
Made some great pitches to pitch out of trouble, and one critical play when he picked the runner off base, and then that last inning, getting in double play, and a lot of it had to do with his ability to hold the runner on first. He was going back to first, broke away from it, line shot, hit to Ryan Allen, double play, got out of the inning, got the momentum back on the Rams side, even after the home run to tie it up. Cale Curtis, just an unbelievable performance. He gutted it up, gave everything he had, and once I think you have to say something about Coach Charlie Beverly going with Cale in this. There was a lot of discussion who should go. He went with Cale and stuck with him when he had a little struggling. As times earlier in the season when he has pulled him. But I think Coach Charlie Beverly showed his confidence in Cale Curtis today, and Cale Curtis didn't let him, the team, the parents, the fans, or you and I down, Kevin.
The senior left-hander came through with an excellent performance and will be hailed as the reason why the Rams picked up the victory in this 3rd game of the series. And don't forget about the bottom half of the 7th inning. For the 2nd straight series, here come the Rams. Last time they were trailing by 1. This time it was tied, and they come through, 3 straight men getting on base, and who gets the game-winning knock but Judd Hall?
That's right. Once again, 2 times within a week, actually about 5 days, he comes up with the base hit, this time actually reaching on there, but the ball was hit so sharply with the draw in the infield, the shortstop really didn't have much of a chance. Could not field it cleanly. It kicked away and rolled into short left field, and Lance Shannon able to come home with the biggest run of the year so far for the Rams.
That's absolutely right. Newton County will move on to play the winner of Evans versus Windsor Forest. That game is in progress or has just been finished, one of the two, and we are currently checking to see what the final score is of Evans versus Windsor Forest. Whoever wins that game, that's where Newton County is headed next. Now, this will be the final game at Riverside Park, and it's over, so the final play from Riverside Park turns out to be a dramatic one, and there's a couple of people that I'd like to thank for their help in all the games that we've had here at Riverside Park, namely, first of all, Charlie Beverly, who has allowed us the use of his office throughout the year to call these home baseball games and has really sacrificed a lot in that process. Also, the folks downstairs at the concession stand, they helped out tremendously. Every game, at least a Sprite coming up, sometimes 2, sometimes even 3 for the 8, 9, and 10-inning games that we've had here. We had that 10-inning affair against LaGrange. But the games like that, they were able to keep me going, and really deeply indebted to them for all of the help that they have had. Of course, all the Ram parents and the Ram fans who have been here throughout the year helping out the Newton County Rams. Now, I know many of you will not be able to make it to either Augusta or Savannah for the next series, so you know, of course, that you can hear the games live here on WGFS, and hopefully the Rams can continue. But, Bill, this really has become a fantasy story. The Rams, at the beginning of the year, were expected maybe to title, and that's about it. But now they're in the Final Four of the state, and they've shown some real heart and some real class.
Quite a turnaround from a team that some people thought at best might only be a 500 team. But the pitching came on strong. We always knew they were a good hitting team. They hit today when they had to. And once again, I'm going to say, Cale Curtis, you did it again.
And Curtis allows the rest of the pitchers to get some rest for that next upcoming series. We're going to try to get you a final of Evans versus Windsor Forest, and as soon as we do, we'll announce it live on WGFS. But meanwhile, for Cale Curtis and executive producer Susan Fuller and Bill Dolan and a cast of thousands at Riverside Park, Kevin Holden, your final score. You can dance in the streets, folks, at 6-5. Newton County wins it in the last inning. So long, everybody.